parents had no interest in maintaining it. It was in an older section of Strattenburg on a shady street lined with other post-war homes that had seen better days. Theo had been there only one time, for a less than successful birthday party April's mother had thrown together 2 years earlier. Most of the kids who'd been invited did not attend because their parents wouldn't allow it. Such was the Finnemore family reputation. There were 2 police cars in the driveway when the Boones arrived. Across the street, the neighbors were on their porches watching. Mrs. Finnemore, she went by the name of May, and had named her children April, March, and August, was in the living room on a sofa talking to a uniformed officer when the Boones entered, rather awkwardly. Quick introductions were made. Mr. Boone had never met her. "Theo," Mrs. Finnemore said very dramatically, "someone has taken our April." Then she burst into tears and reached to hug Theo. He wanted no part of being hugged, but went along with the ritual out of respect. As always, she wore a large, flowing garment that was more of a tent than a dress, light brown in color and made from what appeared to be burlap. Her long, graying hair was pulled into a tight ponytail. Crazy as she was, Theo had always been struck by her beauty. She made no effort at being attractive, quite unlike his mother, but some things you can't hide. She was also very creative, liked to paint and do pottery in addition to making goat cheese. April had inherited the good genes, the pretty eyes, the artistic flair. When Mrs. Finnemore settled down, Mrs. Boone asked the officer, "What happened?" He responded with a quick summary of what little they knew at that point. "Did you talk to her last night?" the officer asked Theo. The cop's name was Bollock, Sergeant Bollock, which Theo knew because he'd seen him around the courthouse. Theo knew most of the policemen in Strattenburg, as well as most of the lawyers, judges, janitors, and clerks in the courthouse. "Yes, sir, at 9:15, according to my phone log. We talk almost every night before going to bed," Theo said. Bollock had the reputation of being a wise guy. Theo wasn't prepared to like him. How sweet. Did she say anything that might be useful here? Was she worried? Scared? Theo was immediately caught in a vice. He could not lie to a police officer, yet he could not tell a secret that he'd promised he wouldn't tell. So he fudged a bit by saying, "I don't recall anything like that." Mrs. Finnemore was no longer crying. She was staring intensely at Theo, her eyes glowing. "What did you talk about?" Sergeant Bollock asked. A detective in plain clothes entered the room and listened carefully. "The usual stuff, school, homework, I don't remember everything." Theo had watched enough trials to know that answers should often be kept vague, and that "I don't recall" and "I don't remember" were perfectly acceptable in many instances. "Did you chat online?" the detective asked. "No, sir, not last night, just phone." They often used Facebook and text messages, but Theo knew not to volunteer information. Just answer the question in front of you. He'd heard his mother say this to her clients many times. "Any sign of a break-in?" Mr. Boone asked. "None," said Bollock. "Mrs. Finnemore was sound asleep in the downstairs bedroom. She heard nothing, and at some point she got up to check on April. That's when she realized she was gone." Theo looked at Mrs. Finnemore, who again shot him a fierce look. He knew the truth, and she knew he knew the truth. Trouble was, Theo couldn't tell the truth because he'd made a promise to April. The truth was that Mrs. Finnemore had not been home for the past 2 nights. April had been living alone, terrified, with all the doors and windows locked as tightly as possible, with a chair jammed against her bedroom door, with an old baseball bat across the end of her bed, with the phone close and ready to dial 911, and with no one in the world to talk to but Theodore Boone, who had vowed not to tell a soul. Her father was out of town with his band. Her mother was taking pills and losing her mind. "In the past few days, has April said anything about running away?" the detective was asking Theo. "Oh, yes, non-stop. She wants to run away to Paris and study art. She wants to run away to L.A. and live with March, her older sister. She wants to run away to Santa Fe and become a painter. She wants to run away, period." "I don't recall anything like that," Theo said, and it was the truth, because in the past few days could mean almost anything. Thus, the question was too vague to require a definite answer on his part. He had seen this time and time